Welcome back to The Blunt Side, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything without a filter. I'm your host, Sydney, and today's episode is about cheating. It's going to be kind of heavy, but I'm excited to talk about this because I feel like everyone deals with this in some type of way. Like, who hasn't been cheated on? You know what I mean? So we need to talk about it. There's so many things that I want to get into with this topic, but before I get into any of that, let's do our little intro. Let's talk about what's going on lately. Let's do some disclaimers. So again, I have my shitty little microphone that hasn't changed, and my shitty little setup. It looks a bit different today. Anyways, last time I did this podcast, we talked about Christmas and how it's really hard when you have a fucked up life. And my Christmas was definitely like hard. It wasn't as hard as last year. That was the first year without my brother. This was the second year. That was the first Christmas without my brother. And this was the second Christmas without my brother. It was obviously hard, but it's different when someone just passes away. Like, you're literally an emotional wreck, and I still definitely cried and everything, but I tried to get into the Christmas spirit a little bit. I ended up going to one or two Christmas gatherings, my sister's boyfriend's family, and it was fun. I still felt like an emptiness and a sadness, but I got some signs from my brother, which was cool. And I don't know, it was nice to do something. And so, yeah, and then New Year's happened. New Year's was fun, even though I don't really like, my New Year's starts in Aries season with the spring equinox and like the new zodiac sign. Like, it makes more sense for the New Year to start with spring for me. But obviously I still celebrate New Year's and I had a good time. I did a little grape ritual under the table. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but basically you eat 12 grapes right before it turns 12 a.m. on New Year's, and you have to do it under the table. And each grape is like a manifestation that you want. So you have to have like an intention, like, oh, this grape symbolizes this thing I want. And so with each thing you like focus and then you eat the grape. So while everyone was like partying, I was under the goddamn table eating my grapes. I was like told by many people that I was going to be made fun of, but nobody even noticed that I was under the table. Only the people that knew I was going to do the rituals knew that I was under the table. And so that's just like your sign. Like, if you want to start doing more like weird witchy spiritual stuff, just do it, because it's your life and it's your manifestations. And even if those people did notice me, like, a couple minutes of embarrassment doesn't compare to me getting all of my manifestations. Like, you know what I mean? That won't matter once I get all the things I want, okay? Anyways, yeah, that was my New Year's. And now here we are. I'm making a vision board. I'm still making it. I want it to be perfect. Oh, today is the new moon in Capricorn, and it's also the 111 portal. It is January 11th today. And so a portal on a new moon? Oh, okay, the energy is potent. And I am doing sorry, that was loud, that laugh. I am trying to finish my vision board today because I feel like that's the perfect time to do a vision board, is on this day, because it symbolizes like new beginnings, and Capricorn is all about career and discipline, and that's definitely what I want to focus on this year. And so I'm hoping to finish my vision board today, but I'm also trying out a new manifestation method tonight, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's called the whisper method. I have never tried it before, but basically you imagine yourself like whispering the thing you want into someone's ear that can give it to you. Like, you kind of imagine like you're like a ghost walking up to them and you're whispering in their ear like, I want this thing, but you say it 3 times, and then you kiss them on their forehead, like right on their little third eye, and then you walk away. Apparently it's very powerful from what I've heard, so I'm trying that out tonight with something, and I'm excited to see the results from that. Oh, I got a haircut. It does not look good right now, okay? My hair is greasy, and I literally tried styling it so much. Like basically I got like layers and curtain bangs because my hair was all one length. It was really dead. It was getting tangled a lot, and I was like, okay, with this new year, I need to cut my hair. I need like a little something to make myself feel brand new. So I got a little haircut. I really like it. However, like I have like little curtain bangs, and so if I don't style them, they just like hang straight. Like I have really flat straight hair. And so I used this styling tool today and it looked great, but like my hair just doesn't hold curls. Like my hair just falls flat. So I'm going to have to experiment with different products and stuff like that because I love the look of like the blown out curtain bangs. I know that that style has been like so like overdone, but like I don't care. Like I feel like I look so good with it, and I'm tired of not doing anything with my hair. Like I always just wear my hair how it is, and it's time that I start styling it. Anyways, I feel like that's all I have to say. Oh, I was also supposed to get a tattoo. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a haircut and a tattoo for the new year. I'm gonna be a brand new bitch. But I had to cancel my tattoo appointment because of some family shit, and so that hasn't happened yet, but everything will unfold the way it's meant to. I'm not gonna rush it. I want it to be perfect, and yeah, I'm happy with my haircut, so that's enough change for me right now. But hopefully next time I film, I'll have a tattoo. Anyways, I feel like it's time we get into today's topic, which is cheating. So in the last episode of The Blunt Side, I think I mentioned that I was going through a breakup. And I got cheated on. Yeah, I did. Can you believe it? No, me neither. Okay, as you guys can see, I am now in a different outfit. It's a different day. And the reason is because the stupid, shitty microphone cut out like halfway through the podcast. Basically, like this cord came out, and so it just stopped working. This is why I need a new microphone. But I'm hoping that doesn't happen this time. If it does, like, whatever, I'll deal with it in the future. But if it happens again, it'll be fine. It just, like, the sound quality won't be as good, which will piss me off because I'm a perfectionist. But, like, we have to move on, okay? I need to get this out because the messages in this are important, okay? And the sound will not stop me. Okay, so let's get into the podcast episode about cheating. So I think we're going to start off with, like, what cheating is, because I feel like nowadays it's like so blurred with like social media and just like new relationships and stuff. I just feel like relationships have evolved so much, and so I don't know, like cheating can be different depending on like the person, the relationship, but I'm going to talk about what it means for me. So obviously like there's physical cheating, right? Which to me is like kissing, any type of physical touch is cheating. Obviously like not hugging and stuff like that, but if it's like to the point where you're like touching on somebody but you're not kissing them, like okay, you're being weird. That's kind of cheating. Anyways, so obviously we have physical cheating. I feel like emotional cheating is where the lines really get blurred because people don't consider flirting to be cheating, but like I definitely do, okay? Because it's kind of like why are you entertaining somebody else? I feel like so many relationships, they will be like, oh, well, like, oh, I didn't realize I was flirting. Like, that's definitely happened to me, where somebody will be like, oh, well, like, I didn't realize I was flirting. Okay, but why are you talking that way to another girl? Like, I just would like to know, because I know me personally, whenever I've been, like, in a relationship where I've been, like, deeply in love with them, like, I've never had eyes for anybody else. I don't want to talk to another guy in that way because it makes me like uncomfortable. Like why would I even want to do that if I'm like in love with the person I'm with? So that just like proves to me that like if you're flirting with someone or having some weird like conversation where it's just like, would you do that if your partner was sitting right beside you? If you wouldn't do it when they're right beside you, it's cheating. Like I don't care, because then do it in front of them. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's definitely cheating as well. I also just feel like, I don't know, there's a whole like debates on this, like whether or not liking other people's pictures. So basically I feel like if you've been friends with somebody for a while and like you just follow each other on Instagram and like you're liking their picture, like whatever, it's not that deep. But if you're the type of person where your Instagram is literally just filled with other girls or guys, but like I've noticed this a lot, that guys will have just like all of these girls like in bikinis, porn stars, OnlyFans girls. I'm sorry, like for what reason? Because I know me as a girl, like I don't have a bunch of naked guys on my Instagram or girls. Like I don't have either. And it's just like it's really weird to me that it's become so normalized because of social media. Like, oh well, like I just follow them, like it's not that serious. But why though? And then like guys will gaslight you like you're crazy for wanting them to not like follow people, and they'll make it seem like you're being dramatic because it's just Instagram and oh it's just liking. But why do you feel the need to like do that when you're with somebody? Like I'm so sick of like people gaslighting people for not wanting their partners to follow a bunch of people. Like no matter if it's considered cheating or not, it's just disrespectful. Like if you really think about it, like if you think about like your husband or like your soulmate, like your perfect person, would they follow a bunch of girls on Instagram and be liking them and like drooling over half naked girls? No, they wouldn't. Like that's the thing. So it's like you can't convince me that you are in love with me but you also have all these people, because no, like my husband would not be acting like this. Like he would have eyes for me. Like he wouldn't be like a dog like that. So it's cheating. I don't care. It's cheating. Okay. I feel like at the end of the day though, every relationship has their own definition of cheating. And if you guys talk about like what your boundaries are, like let's say like you're a more open couple and you're like, oh, I don't care if you have a bunch of guy friends and blah blah blah. Like I think it's fine as long as you guys are communicating to each other. Like for me personally, like I will never care what my person is doing as long as they're telling me what's going on, because when I'm in a relationship, I literally tell my person about everything of my life. I'm like, oh, I'm talking to this guy today because blah, 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 and here's why he's in my life, and oh, I'm talking to this girl for this reason, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm super open with communication and why, and like who I'm talking to, and like on my social media, like you're never gonna go on my phone and get a surprise because I've probably already told you about it. And so if someone in the relationship is doing something and like they have like all these like friends where like you don't know who they are, it's kind of just like weird, because it's like, why are you not involving me in your life? Like why do I not know who this friend is or who this person is? You know what I mean? Like, and people will make it out like you're crazy and jealous, and it's like, no, you people are being shady. You're not having open communication. And I feel like as long as you have that open communication, then I don't think cheating can happen, you know what I mean? So as long as each party in the couple are like communicating each other, like this is what I see as cheating, this is what I see as cheating, then that's fine. And then if the person goes against that, then they cheated, okay? And I'm not gonna sit here and say that I've never done that stuff, like, oh, I've never flirted with someone, I've definitely emotionally cheated before. And now that I know what that looks like, I can look back and be like, okay, so you were not being like 100% faithful. Maybe you didn't physically cheat, but now that I've been in relationships where I've had that done to me, like emotionally, like I'm like, okay, so what I did in the past like wasn't okay either. And so I don't know, it's always like a way to like grow and learn. And that's why like relationships are so important, because you could do something to someone and not even realize until like you have it done to you, and then you're like, actually I'm not okay with that. But yeah, that's my opinion on like what cheating actually is. Now I feel like I want to get into why people cheat, and basically like I want to talk about all of this for the people that have been cheated on, but also for the cheaters. Like if there's any cheaters watching this that want to like grow and become better and like want to recognize their mistakes, like hopefully this will help you understand like why you're actually doing what you're doing, because it's always something deeper. It's never just like, oh, in the moment you were attracted to somebody. No, it's definitely way something deeper, and I'm going to get into what those deeper reasons are, because I feel like there's a theme. So basically why people cheat, it all comes down to, in my opinion, abandonment issues, but it doesn't always have to be that way, I guess. I feel like the bottom line is they're emotionally unavailable, but I feel like that emotional unavailability comes from abandonment issues. But let's just start with the emotional unavailability aspect. So basically, every person that I've noticed that has cheated, or that like emotionally cheats and doesn't like technically cheat, like they've been emotionally unavailable in some way. And I'm not saying that every person that's emotionally unavailable is going to cheat or is always going to be a cheater. I'm just saying that that's definitely like, because you can't cheat and be emotionally available. Like, I don't think those two things can coexist. Like, you're not going to be an emotionally available person in the relationship and then you're going to go and cheat. I just don't think that makes any sense. So the cheater has to be emotionally unavailable, right? Because you wouldn't be going to seek something out if you were comfortable and if you were available expressing and talking about your emotions and you were comfortable in the relationship. Why would you need to go seek validation from somebody? There's a need to fill some sort of void because you're not feeling satisfied in the relationship, and it's not your partner's fault that you're not feeling satisfied. It's because you don't feel able to connect to anyone because you view connecting as like something that's scary and too vulnerable. And so whenever the person in the relationship that's emotionally unavailable feels like things are getting too like much, I swear, like that's when they go and start looking for validation from other people because they want like a quick fun little experience with someone that's not serious. And whenever things start getting too serious with people, that's when they start looking for like the validation from like the Instagram people or random ass people from their past, or like, oh, I need this validation because things are just getting like too much, or they have like a deep conversation with their partner, or they have like an argument, and then that's when they start going out looking for something because they can't handle that things are starting to get too real with their partner. Okay, so yeah, like I said before, I feel like another like reason that makes people cheat, or like an explanation, is the abandonment issues, which again goes kind of hand in hand with being emotionally unavailable. I feel like, and again, not everybody that has abandonment issues is going to be a cheater. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody has abandonment issues in some way, but I just noticed that cheaters have such deep abandonment wounds. Like, they never feel like satisfied because they're always expecting to be left, and so they try to leave you first by cheating, but they do it subconsciously. Like, they're the biggest self-sabotagers in the world. Like, I'll give you an example of my recent relationship where I got cheated on. So basically, I was going through a really hard time, and I explained to the person I was with, like, I'm not doing okay, and I'm taking it out on everybody around me. And so for everybody else's sake and for mine, I need like a couple days of just like being to myself and just like processing what I'm going through. And I explained to them that like I was feeling like really depressed and like suicidal, and that I was just not like doing okay. And what did this person do when I expressed myself? They made it all about them. They were like, oh, are you breaking up with me? Oh, you want to leave me? I'm like, did I ever say that? I said I'm not doing okay mentally, and I just like need a couple days to like process that. And I reassured them 100 times, like, I'm not breaking up with you. We're not even on a break. We're not even fighting. I literally am just depressed. And you think that they would like want to try and support me? No. They took that as we're broken up, and they went and messaged another girl and was saying whatever they were saying, and I found out later on. But that's the thing, like, when you try to establish boundaries with somebody like that has such deep abandonment wounds, they automatically are going to take it like, you're leaving me. Like, that's all they're going to hear is, you're leaving me, this person's leaving me, they're sick of me, I need to go fill my void with somebody else because I cannot handle the fact that like this person's leaving me, even though you literally never were going to leave them in the first place. But they don't understand that because their abandonment wounds are so deep that they can't even like hear the words that you're saying. And again, this has happened, I feel like this happens a lot in relationships where you'll have like an argument and that person will take it as like, oh, the relationship's over. And the thing is, in a real relationship where there's communication and emotional compatibility and availability, when you get into an argument, you guys will talk it through and you will be on the same page about everything. And if it actually did come to the point where you were breaking up, somebody that genuinely cares about you would like make sure you're actually broken up before they go and be with anybody else. But I feel like aside from that, if they actually did care about you, they wouldn't just go try to fill the void right away anyways. they would like deal with the breakup like a normal person. But again, somebody that's emotionally unavailable and has those abandonment wounds, they're not going to ever treat it like a normal breakup. They're going to be like, oh my god, this person's leaving me, time to go fill the void. So it's like, do they even really love you in the first place? Probably not, because you're kind of just like a placeholder for their own issues. And that's why when you get cheated on, you have to remember, like, it literally is never ever ever your fault. It doesn't matter if you're the ugliest troll in all the land, which you're definitely not, but it doesn't matter what you look like, what your flaws are. Like, somebody that is cheating on you, it has everything to do with them, because at the end of the day, they're filling a void. Somebody normal doesn't do that. They don't replace people like they're trash, you know what I mean? But yeah, like, that brings me into like the next thing of why people cheat is like they're constantly trying to fill a void. That's another thing I've noticed, is that not even just with people, but like you'll notice that serial cheaters, they're always in relationships, or they're always kind of like going out with people. It's kind of like they can never be alone. And again, it goes back to the abandonment issues. They're always trying to fill a void, whether that's with like drinking, shopping, just impulsive decisions, with relationships. And it's, again, not to say everybody that does that is a cheater, because I'm like that too. Like, I definitely relationship hop a lot, and that goes to my abandonment issues as well. And that doesn't mean that I'm a cheater, because I'm pretty loyal. I mean, I've definitely had my emotionally cheating in the past, but like for the most part, like, I'm very loyal when it comes to relationships, and I put my all into them. I can't speak on me when I was a teenager, but yeah, like, I just noticed that though, that cheaters, they're always needing to fill a void, like, and that's why it can be so stressful dating somebody like that, and you feel anxious a lot in the relationship, because you know, like, oh, anything I do, like, are they gonna leave me? Are they gonna replace me with someone else? And like, you don't want to date somebody like that, because they actually will replace you with someone else. And that's like what I've learned. Like, you don't want to date the person that can never just sit with themselves, because they will replace you with something, whether it's like new people to hang out with, a new relationship. They're gonna replace you with something, because again, it has nothing to do with you, and it has all to do with this hole inside of them, this abandonment wound that they're trying to fill constantly. I want to kind of talk about like how to spot a cheater. I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand with what I was just talking about, but I want to touch on some more things. Lots of these things, it doesn't mean like they're going to cheat on you if they do like one or two of these things, but I noticed that like cheaters, they do like most of these things. Okay, so number one, they don't keep their word. Okay, so I feel like a cheater, they just like, they're really good at talking. They can talk up a storm, they can talk their way out of anything. It's never with their actions. Okay, and you'll notice that they make like a lot of promises and then they won't follow through on them. And you may be wondering, like, what does that have to do with cheating? I just kind of noticed that it's more of like a character trait of somebody that's not really trustworthy. Like, if somebody can't keep their word with you on simple things, you can't expect them to keep their word with you on big things, because I feel like somebody with strong morals and they like really care about the people around them, and they care about being like having integrity, like morality, they're gonna follow through on the small things, and then you know you can depend on them for the bigger things. Like, if someone can do something for you physically, and like you've counted on them before with the things they've said they're gonna do, you know, like, oh, I can count on them emotionally, I can count on them with bigger things, because they've proven their worth with these smaller things, if that makes sense. Okay, another way is you catch them in little lies. Like, again, this goes hand in hand with the fact that like they just will talk circles around you. You'll notice that they will like I don't know, maybe like tell you stories, or just like tell you things about their past, and then you end up finding later like that actually doesn't add up with what you said before. And you'll start to like piece things together and realize like, oh, they lied about this little thing, and the things that they lie about will be so small and insignificant that you kind of just write it off. But again, it goes back to like somebody with morals and integrity and all of that. Like, they don't ever lie. Like, they don't lie about random little things, because it's like, what do you even get? What is the point? Like, what is the point of lying about little things? And again, it's kind of like a build up. It's like, if you lie about little things, I know that I can't trust you to tell me the truth about bigger things, because why are you lying about the most random shit? Like, I just noticed that, like, cheaters are the biggest compulsive liars. They'll find a way to just like make up stories or just like any random thing, and it's like, it's because they get some weird like thrill off of just like, I don't know, they're just not sincere people, like, through and through. And it's not just when it comes to relationships, it's every little thing. And those are the things that you have to pay attention to, because the relationship and the cheating will come after, but will come first is the little lies, the little insignificant things where if you weren't paying attention to it and then they cheat, you'd be like, oh my God, it came out of nowhere. No, there's always little ways to tell, but you have to pay attention to the smaller character traits, because that's what will show in the long run if they're a trustworthy person or not. Again, I kind of already touched on this, but kind of like the no boundaries and just like needing to fill the void with like doing something all the time, or like being around somebody. It's like they have no boundaries with like anything in life. Like they don't really like have standards for their friendships or like who they have in their life. They don't really like know how to speak up for themselves. They don't know how to like put people in their place when it comes to like friendships. Like, I feel like cheaters are the types of people where like they literally have no standards for like who's in their life. Like, they'll like tell you like about somebody in their life that like did something so horrible to them, and you're like, well, why did you like tolerate that? Like, why do you even have that person in their life? And they're like, oh, like, I don't know. And it's kind of, you just kind of notice like the people they have around them like aren't very good people, and it's like they kind of like know that, but because they need to fill a void, like it all goes back to that, like, because they can never be alone, they always need to fill a void. Like, they don't really have standards for like what they tolerate in life, and so it's kind of like goes back to filling a void, because if somebody doesn't have boundaries in like the little ways, then when you guys have an argument, they're not going to have like standards for the way they treat you. And when you guys get into an argument, they're going to go run to like the first person, even if they know that they're not good for them or whatever. They're going to go replace you because they don't have boundaries. Like, they're not able to like ever be alone. Like, basically is what I'm like trying to get at, is like the no boundaries is really like they don't know how to be alone. Another thing is they put themselves before others' feelings. And again, these are all like little things that they're gonna do throughout the relationship before they cheat on you. So I feel like somebody that cares about people and has a good heart, they're always looking for ways to do good in this world, whether it's like talking about the people around them and being like, oh my God, I can't believe like this person's going through this, like I want to do this for them, I wish I could help them. Or maybe they're going to like do something for someone in the community, or they're going to have passions for things outside themselves. They're going to have passion for like the environment, or just like mental health, or maybe homelessness. Like, they're going to have passions, and they're going to care about these things. People that are cheaters, I noticed that they only think of themselves. They don't even know how to conceptualize like caring about someone else's feelings unless it benefits them. And they're the type of people where like they don't even really think about how someone else feels, even if they cheat on you and you were to explain to them like how it made you feel. Like, it's like they can't even conceptualize it, because these types of people are so wrapped into their own like low self-worth, abandonment feelings, feeling of unworthiness. Like, they don't care about you, and they don't care about the people around them. And that can sound very harsh, but it's honestly true. Yeah, I don't really think I have much more to say on that one. Another thing I notice of like how to spot a cheater is like when you start the relationship with them, they're going to prioritize sex with you over emotional connection. Again, this kind of goes back to the emotional unavailability thing, and that's kind of like a way to spot somebody that's emotionally unavailable, is that they start the relationship off sexually, and like maybe you guys will like be very sexual right off the bat, and then like you kind of just like, oh, you like being around each other, so you start dating, but then you didn't actually like get to know them, and now you're kind of like in this relationship where you start picking up on, oh, they're kind of like a little liar, they kind of don't keep their word. Like, that's kind of how like the relationship forms. And I've just noticed like whenever the relationships I've been in that I've got cheated on, like it started off with sex like right away, and the emotional aspect was never even part of it. And then I spent the whole relationship like trying to find that emotional connection, or like trying to like make one exist where there never was one. And so yeah, again, that's something just like I notice, is that like sex comes first, the relationship comes after. And like you can't really, I mean, I know there's lots of people that their relationships start off with sex, and I'm sure they have a great relationship. Again, I'm not speaking for every relationship, I'm just saying all of these things combined, I just noticed that like a person like that, they're not going to ever fully value you if the relationship started off with them only wanting you for that, for your body. Okay, I want to talk about how like cheating affects people, because I think it's like one of the worst things you can do to somebody, and it will honestly ruin you for the rest of your life, in my opinion. So basically, the way cheating affects you is it affects your self-worth, and it doesn't matter how much like how many like self-help books you read, or how much psychoanalyzing you do into people, and like realizing like, oh, they're the problem because of this issue they have, and this you can do that all day. It doesn't change the fact that like if someone cheats on you, you literally feel like shit, like you weren't good enough for them. And that's like the worst thing about cheating, is that it literally causes abandonment issues. And it's just like really interesting to think about how the exact issues that cheaters have, they end up causing in other people. Like again, the emotional unavailability, the abandonment issues, the needing to fill the void, like everything that they have. Whenever they cheat on somebody, you end up giving them those problems. Like, I don't know, my number one like villain origin story was the first time I got cheated on when I was like 15. And this was like my first relationship, my first love. And that was like the stem. Like I already had abandonment issues, but that was like a catalyst for my abandonment issues, my emotional unavailability. Because when someone cheats on you, like it literally destroys like your perception of yourself, perception of reality, your perception of relationships. You literally always think like someone's gonna do it again. Like you have trust issues for the rest of your life. Like it's literally like debilitating. And I feel like it's just done so willy-nilly in like today's age, especially with emotional cheating and social media, where like the lines are so blurred. People will do things and not realize the lasting impact it will have, not only on the person you're with, but on every relationship that they have to come. It's kind of like a ripple effect. Like when you cheat on somebody, you're literally affecting like their future relationships, because now they have trust issues, they have low self-worth, they have abandonment issues, and that's going to affect the next relationship that they're in. That's going to make them probably act crazy in their next relationship. It's going to cause a lot of arguments, because they're going to always be thinking like their partner is going to cheat on them. And then on top of that, I feel like if you're the type of person that now you have trust issues because you were cheated on, now you have abandonment issues, you start to attract more and more and more of cheaters into your life, because when you have this energy put out of like not trusting people, you're going to start attracting untrustworthy people. When you have low self-worth, you're going to start attracting people that aren't going to see your value and see you for what you're worth, because you don't even see yourself that way. So just overall, like cheating affects people so deeply. I also want to talk about that first relationship again that I had, and how like much it actually affected me like on a physical way. I remember back then, again, this was my first relationship. I was 15 years old, like so in love, thought I was going to get married to this guy. Obviously, I was just like a teenager, like obsessed with romance, whatever, but it doesn't matter. Like it hurt bad, and it was my villain origin story. And I remember like I stopped eating, and it wasn't in a way where it was like, oh, I'm gonna starve myself because I'm just too upset. No, I literally just like had no will to live. I literally would like just stop going to school. I was getting in trouble all the time from like my teachers and my mom. I remember I wasn't eating meals, and I had no urge to eat. It wasn't like I was going out of my way to punish myself and like feel the hunger. I literally had no hunger, no urge. I would just lay in bed. Like life was completely, absolutely meaningless. And I don't think people realize like how much cheating just affects you on all levels. Like, it can create just so many mental issues, depression, anxiety, everything. I remember I had so many panic attacks, like, at school. I remember this one time, it was like right after I'd been cheated on, and I was at school, because you just, like, that's the thing when you're in high school and you go through something like traumatizing, you just have to go to school like nothing happened. And so I was at school, I was at my locker, and somebody mentioned his name to me, and I literally, like, all sound went out. Like, it was like I was deaf for a second, and then I felt like I couldn't breathe, and then I felt my knees start to shake, and I was like, holy fuck, like, what is happening to me? I felt like I was gonna pass out. And if you've ever had a panic attack, you know that it feels like you're dying. But I literally was like, oh my god. So I remember I just slowly crouched down at my locker, and I just, like, started, like, trying to take deep breaths, and I was like, what the hell? Like, I just had a fucking panic attack. It was like the scariest thing ever. And, like, that's the problem too. Like, cheating doesn't just affect you on an emotional level, on, like, a self-worth level. It literally will affect you physically, especially if you're somebody that might already have mental health issues or just have stuff going on, like, and you have, like, maybe, like, depression in your family, in your DNA, whatever. That shit will affect you so much harder. And, like, depending on the, like, person you are, it might take you a really long time to get over it. And I just feel like in general, it takes everybody a long time to get over it, but not everybody, like, shows it. Like, some people can bounce back and pretend that, like, they got over it, and then other people show more physically on the outside that they're not okay and, like, they're still dealing with it. But I feel like overall, like, it takes a long ass time for anybody to get over cheating, and just because they're not showing it, maybe emotionally they're still dealing with it. I'm trying to, like, think of advice to give people that have been cheated on, like, even for myself. Honestly, the only thing you can do is literally work on yourself. Like, there's nothing you can do except go through the pain. Like, you have to journal about it, you have to cry about it, you have to build yourself back up from the ground up. You can't just move on, because you will go into your next relationship having those same abandonment issues, having low self-worth. Like, you need to take a break from relationships after you get cheated on, and you need to build your self-worth back up. You need to do your affirmations. You need to, like, fall in love with yourself on your own, because something like that will destroy you. And if you don't address it and address everything that the pain that person caused you, you're just going to cover it up, and it will come out later. So anybody that is dealing with being cheated on, know that you're also not alone. When you do get cheated on, it kind of feels like your world's ending and that everything's falling apart and that you're the only one going through this, but literally everyone has either experienced being cheated on or just some type of betrayal. So definitely connecting with other people, reaching out to other people that have experienced it, will help you as well. And also just know, like, again, that was never a loss. Like, somebody that's, like, willing to betray you when you gave them everything, when you were loyal, that was never ever ever a loss. I feel like the universe will put you through something really difficult to make you leave somewhere that you're not supposed to be. And I feel like I've experienced that a lot in a lot of my relationships, but especially the ones I got cheated on in, because throughout the relationship, like, I knew that person wasn't good for me. I knew there were red flags that I was ignoring, but I was never going to take that leap on my own, because I was too comfortable, too focused on the potential. And God, the universe, whatever you believe in, God knew that. He knew that I would never leave unless something drastic happened. And so sometimes, unfortunately, the universe does put you through really traumatizing things so that you will realize, like, oh my God, I have to leave. Because the thing is, I look back and I'm like, I never would have left unless I got cheated on, which is sad that you have to be, like, completely and utterly disrespected to realize, like, you don't belong here anymore. But sometimes that's what it comes down to. And just realize that everything is happening for your highest good. God, the universe, doesn't just do things to you because they hate you and want you to suffer. It's all for your greatest good. So if you realize that and start putting that time and energy and love back into yourself, I promise you, you will come out so amazing after. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm building up my self-worth again. I'm, like, learning how to be alone without just filling a void with, like, another person, because I don't want to attract another relationship like that again. Like, mark my word, that is the last time I'm staying with somebody where I know I don't belong with them, and that's the last time I'm getting cheated on, because I see things now in myself that I didn't see before, and I'm thankful that it happened now. Like, I know it only happened a couple weeks ago, but I feel like I'm already at the place, and I've had it happen so many times, where I am thankful that it happened, because I know that it's God's way of leading me to something greater. And so yeah, that's all I have to say today on cheating. I really hope that this episode spoke to people that have been cheated on, and especially people that have cheated, because I feel like there is potential for you to become better and to grow up and to fix your issues, but you need to know what those issues are first. So I hope that everybody listening got something out of this. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me for episode 3 of The Blunt Side, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything without a filter. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.